embark on the Great Canadian Farm Tour, it is important to acknowledge that we are on the traditional lands of Indigenous peoples. Agriculture in the Classroom Canada recognizes and honors the enduring presence of the diverse Indigenous communities across Canada, including the First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples. We acknowledge the deep connection that Indigenous peoples have to the land, waters, resources, and all of agriculture. We express our gratitude for their stewardship and custodianship of these lands for generations. Agriculture in the Classroom Canada recognizes that acknowledging the traditional territories we reside and work on is only a small step towards reconciliation. We ask that we all continue to learn more about the Indigenous peoples in these regions, to consider the history and ongoing colonialism on this land, to reflect on how each of us can contribute to reconciliation. Hello, bonjour. Welcome everyone to our last stop on season 4 of the Great Canadian Farm Tour. We are so excited to have everyone join us today from across Canada. My name is Mercedes Unwin from Agriculture in the Classroom Canada, and I'll be your MC for today. Before we get started, we just want to provide a few reminders. For those who want to follow along in French, please use the Boost Lingo link provided in the chat or event description to access the interpreting services provided for today. We ask that everyone is mindful this is an educational event, so inappropriate conduct happening in the chat, such as spamming and improper comments, will not be tolerated. Throughout the tour, we'll welcome you to post your questions in the chat to get them answered. We'll answer as many questions as possible. The mystery word for your student activity books will appear at the end of this episode, so please stick around to see it. Students, important answers to your student activity books, such as the provincial tree and the meaning of the provincial coat of arms, will be shared during the brain break. Finally, we'd love to know where everyone is joining us from. Please comment in the chat your school and location. Now, we've learned so much during the season of the Great Canadian Farm Tour, whether it has been apples that are grown in the most northern reaches of Canada, how robotics and technology are used in farming, and how cranberries are harvested by having them float in water. We would like to welcome our last tour host of the Great Canadian Farm Tour, Joseph, who produces ice creams at Chaeban Ice Cream in Manitoba. Welcome, Joseph.
Hello, how are you guys?
So we're so excited to have you join us today, Joseph. I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Joseph Chaeban from Chaeban Ice Cream and Chaeban Artisan. I'm a second generation cheesemaker and I love to make cheese. But today we're going to be teaching you guys how to make ice cream.
And I'm very excited, Joseph. And it's so wonderful to hear more about your background and experiences. So before we get started, is there any schools you'd like to do a shout out to today, Joseph?
Well, I'm from Winnipeg, and I know I'm talking to everyone across Canada. Shout out to École Bellevue, also all of Canada. Hello.
Great. Again, it's great to have everyone here with us today. We're going to get started with learning more about ice cream production through a series of educational videos with Joseph here to answer some of your burning questions. So let's get started with our first video.
Hi, my name is Joseph Chaeban. I'm the owner of Chaeban Ice Cream. I'm a second generation cheesemaker and dairy scientist. I moved to Winnipeg in 2015. I opened up a cheese factory for another company. And this amazing neighborhood of South Osborne was helping Syrian refugees come to Canada. I fell in love with Winnipeg and I said, I want to stay in Winnipeg and I want to make my own business. And I want to give back to the community that I'm in. So with my genius idea, I was like, let's make a restaurant because I was always thinking about my stomach. And when I found this location that I'm in, I found out it was an ice cream store previous. And I was like, it would be really cool to use my expertise in dairy science and cheese making. And I was like, let's make our own ice cream from scratch, have a whole new experience, and let's make it premium, really awesome for our customers, and we can put a smile on their faces. And that's how Chaeban Ice Cream started. Numerous years we've been open. We won so many awards, which is amazing. COVID hit us, but we bounced right back. We started making cheese, and that's my roots. And I love making cheese. But today we're gonna show you guys how we make our salty caramel ice cream, which won grand champion in Canada for ice cream. Do you know what's really cool at Chaeban Ice Cream? Why our ice cream is amazing? One, we source our ingredients here in Canada and Manitoba. And two, it's all natural. So it's very important that we have all of our flavors, our ingredients being naturally made, and it's so important for us. All of our milk come from the Granco family, which is an amazing farm right here in Manitoba. And we support them by using all their milk for our ice creams, for our cheese. We source our pumpkins for our Peter Pumpkin Eater ice cream. We also source our berries here in Manitoba for our prairie berry as well. And we try to support local as much as possible. We always, every month, make a new flavor. And we brainstorm all of our staff and team. We see, okay, what is the season, number one? So we're going to be going into the Christmas season very soon. And we're like, Ferrero Rocher chocolate. This is unbelievable. So we gotta make this. Do you know people love our ice cream so much that we sell almost 100,000 pints a year? That's unbelievable.
Wow. Joseph, it's making me hungry just seeing all the different flavors you have. So let's learn more about ice cream by answering some of the student questions from across Canada. Let's get one up on the screen.
All right.
So this question coming in from Malcolm, how did you get started with the ice cream shop? Is there something you had to do? Did you have to get business license? Did you know how you wanted to make ice cream, Joseph?
So I know dairy, and I grew up with it, and I wanted to make something really cool and different. Everyone can make ice cream, so I was like, let's make an all natural ice cream, gluten free, have a really dense product where our customers can really have the ice cream experience. That's how the idea started, and I got really lucky with the building I'm in. It was an empty shell, and it helped us create different rooms that we need in order to get proper licenses to do ice cream.
And then Joseph, I'm not sure if you remember, but what was your first ice cream flavor that you ever made?
Oh, okay. So the first ice cream flavor was vanilla. We calling it plain Jane, but we didn't want to make any vanilla. We wanted to make something extraordinary and unique. It's called plain Jane, but I really say it's exotic Jane because the taste is unbelievable. We adding local honey. We put our house-made ricotta inside, and we use real vanilla beans. So we have amazing staff here that scrape vanilla beans, and we put at least 300 vanilla beans when we're making one batch.
Wow, that's pretty fantastic. And I'm going to challenge all the students watching us from across Canada to go try and make some ice cream at home with your
Yes.
parents and get into the experimentation like Joseph just mentioned that it's really exotic Jane. So try being exotic in your product choices and your ingredients. So let's go on to another question from students across Canada. How many flavors of ice creams do you have? And this is being asked by Michelle.
Hi, Michelle. Standard. I'm just thinking how many we have. We have at least 20 in the shop, and then this month we are launching 3 featured flavors. So we try to get our customers always engaged and always excited with new flavors. So this month we're doing Fernando Rocher candy cane, which tastes really cool. And what is the last one? The last one is a really good one. I will think of it in 1 second.
Well, while you're thinking, Joseph, let's do one more question before we move on to our next video. Now, Mason wants to know how long it takes to make ice cream. I think that's being answered in our next video. So why don't we just hold that question and then actually just go straight into that video right now. So let's get into it.
Let's go make some ice cream magic. So it takes 3 days to make all of our flavors. So when we're making salted caramel, day 1, we're prepping and making the ice cream base. How we make salted caramel. Remember when we said we use Canadian ingredients and we try to support local as much as possible? Here it is. Our sugar is Canadian. Our cream is Canadian and Manitoban. And our butter is coming from a really awesome local company, Notre Dame Creamery, which they make their butter. Now, can anyone guess what the secret ingredient in salty caramel is? I think I said it. It's salt. What are we going to do with all of our ingredients? We're going to add sugar to our pot. Then, we're going to add a little bit of cream. Stir. We're going to add a little butter. Stir. Now we're waiting for it to get caramelized. Once it gets caramelized, we're going to add a couple pinches of salt so we can have a salty caramel flavor. And then we're stirring until it's become caramelized and nice and golden brown. We made our caramel sauce. We make about 100 liters of caramel sauce. We'll put it into the fridge. The next day, we're going to receive more milk and more cream into the pasteurization room next door. So we receive milk once to twice a week, and we're making either ice cream or cheese. So right here is where the magic is happening. This is the pasteurization room. So we have 2 vats here, and then we have our mixing pumps where we mix our ingredients and it gets our ice cream really smooth. Can anyone guess how many jugs of milk this vat can hold? If you guessed 100, the answer is no, but this one does. This one holds 500 jugs of milk. So when we make our 100 liters of caramel sauce, we're going to bring it into the pasteurization room, and we're going to mix it with more milk and more cream. What does pasteurization mean? So what we're going to do, we're going to heat up the milk, cream, and the caramel sauce up to 78 Celsius, and we're going to kill all the germs. We're going to hold it for about 30 minutes. And this allows all the germs to be killed so you guys can have a really clean ice cream. So after we pasteurized our milk, cream, and caramel sauce, we're going to age it overnight. That way all the flavors can come out, because always the second day, food tastes better.
Oh, so it takes about 3 days for you to get ice cream, right, Joseph?
Yes, it does.
Well, there's so many different things involved in just bringing it all together. So let's learn a little bit more about ice cream together by going through some student questions from across Canada. So we're bringing up our next question right now from the grade 4 class of Miss Vanderpost. Do you make ice cream with no dairy? That's an interesting question. Do you do that, Joseph?
So just to answer one question, Figaro Fig Cake was our 3rd featured flavor for December. I don't know how that slipped my mind because it's so delicious. So the question is, do we make dairy-free ice cream? And the answer is yes. So we have at least 1 out of 4 customers that are dairy-free or lactose intolerant that come to our store. So we have to cater those customers. So we do only a few flavors, but it's not something that we really push because we love dairy here.
Well, it's always exciting to hear that you are experimenting in non-dairy products too, while also having dairy products to be inclusive for everyone. So let's bring up another question to explore more. What flavor do you sell the most? And this is from Claire in grade 3.
Well, really good question, Claire. So By far, by far, by far. Can anyone guess what flavor it is? It's like 2 to 3 ratio. And
Let's see if some guesses come in. Give it a
okay,
moment. Let's see if we get some guesses in. And while we're waiting for those guesses, Joseph, we'll go
yeah,
on to another question and come back with all the student answers.
okay.
So one question, we'll pop it up while we're waiting for everybody to respond with their guess. What's the most sellable ice cream for Joseph? So Emily would like to know, how many liters of ice cream do you make each day?
So each day in the summertime, we're doing at least 300 liters of ice cream a day.
Wow, that's quite a bit of ice cream. And I know I love ice cream, so I'm just trying to control my excitement. But we do have some answers now to that previous
Okay,
question. So let's bring them up. So MR says chocolate. Let's go to our next one, vanilla from Wendy. And then we have, I think, a couple more. Strawberry from Mr. Bright. And salted caramel. So what's the answer to that question, Joseph? What's the most sold ice cream?
so the answer is we won grand champion in Canada for it, just to let you know. And Michelle is the winner.
Yeah, salted caramel. I'm not surprised because it's so delicious.
Thank
Now,
you.
we're going to do one more question and then we'll move on to our brain break, so our commercial break. So let's do one final question. Mr. Friesian's grade 6 question. Okay. What do you enjoy making more, ice cream or cheese? Oh, that's a very good question.
Oh. So my very first memory in life was waking up in the morning and going into my father's cheesemakery and eating camembert every single morning. And I can't get that out of my brain, so I would have to say cheese.
Wow. I can imagine that's a very fantastic memory. I think we all kind of share that one memory that we share with someone that we love, where we did that first food thing that we did together. If anybody has one of those memories, feel free to share it in the comments. We'd love to hear your first memory of making something that you love to make with someone. So while we're waiting for that, if anybody's answering that question, we will now have a brief 1-minute brain break, and we'll be back with Joseph, who will continue to give us a tour through our very amazing videos with him. So see you in 1 minute. Bye for now. So we're back with Joseph. Welcome back, everyone. So before we dive into our next video, I was going to share a memory of mine, and I have two kind of memories. And one of them is actually waking up to the smell of chocolate chip cookies that my mom used to make every morning. And she gave me a paper bag to take to school to share with my friends. So that's one of my biggest memories. And I think we had a memory shared too. Well, let's bring it up on the screen so everybody can see this memory. Yes. MR shared a favorite food memory is eating ice cream every Saturday night in the summer. What is better than that, than eating on ice cream on a hot summer day? Now we're going to move on to our next video. And that's our last video for today, and then we'll jump into some more questions with Joseph.
Day 3. We take our ice cream mix that we aged overnight into the ice cream machine. Can anyone guess what we do in the ice cream machine? Yes, we freeze the ice cream. We get it to a low enough temperature where it's not frozen completely, but it's about -4 degrees. Once it's at -4, all the air we're adding, the special ingredients like we talked about before. So our ice cream will go into the ice cream hopper. The hopper will go into pints, as you can see. Then the pints will go into boxes. After the pints go into the boxes, we're putting the date on to the pints. And then we're gonna close the box, put a date on the box. Can anyone guess how long ice cream lasts for? We put 1 year. So it's going into the blast freezer, which what happens is it's soft serve ice cream right now in the pint. And this blast freezer will freeze it so fast that it's gonna make it very hard. After we put it into our blast freezer, day 4 is going into your grocery stores. We made our ice cream, now we're selling. What's really cool about Chaeban Ice Cream, it's 100% Canadian. Make sure you get the cow logo, which is 100% Canadian across Canada. Let's talk about nutrition. Why is Chaeban so special? High in calcium, which is great for your bones. High in protein, which makes you strong. And lots of cream, which is delicious. So why do I love my job? My very first memories, I was going into my father's cellar, eating cheese every single morning. And I knew at a young age, I wanted to be a cheesemaker and a dairy scientist. So this allowed me to love my job. I'm happy to come to work every day and making smiles on people's faces. Thank you all. It was a real pleasure teaching you guys how to make ice cream today. Look for Chaeban Ice Cream and Chaeban Artisan at your local grocery stores.
Well, thank you for sharing so much about the wonders of making ice cream with us, Joseph. So let's dive into some questions from students across Canada. Tammy and Emily would like to know how many people help you make ice cream. So how many people do you need help with to help you?
So our manufacturing team, we have a team of 10 people that work here. So we're anywhere between 8 to 10 people every day for manufacturing.
Wow. So it does take quite a few people to help you with the whole process. Let's get into another question. How much ice cream does it take to make? How much cream does it take to make the ice cream from Claire in grade 3?
So that's a great question. So every flavor is being standardized. So our lowest cream content is 13% in order to be premium. And our super premium ice cream is around 21% cream. And can anyone guess what flavor that is?
Let's wait for a couple of guesses to come in, and then we'll go on to another question while we're waiting for everybody to comment to guess what flavor. Which stores in Winnipeg would we find your ice cream? That's really a great question to ask too, from Lisa.
Great question. So we're at the local Vix Market. We're also at St. Leon's when they're open in the summertime. And we're also at some of the Sobeys and some of the co-ops here.
Wow. So now it's giving everybody an excuse to also come to Manitoba to just to come try your ice cream. So let's just see if we have some answers to that question. So vanilla is a response. Another one said vanilla. And then someone else said your favorite, the Grand Champion salted caramel. What's the answer, Joseph?
Actually, you are correct because I guess you know why it's the Grand Champion. Everybody loves cream.
It is very true that cream just adds so much to anything that you do, whether it be ice cream or different kinds of meals that you're making. So we have some time. Let's get into a couple more questions before we wrap up with Joseph.
So quick question for everybody.
Let's do
What
it.
is our secret ingredient in ice cream?
Oh, that's a great question. So while we're waiting for those answers, the secret ingredient, we'll put up a question to answer. How many years has your ice cream shop been in business, Joseph? This is from Miss Hennig's Video Vault. Well,
Oh,
that's her
great
YouTube
question.
name.
So I was crazy enough to open on the first day of winter of 2017, December 21st. So this December 21st will be 7 years.
Wow, and it's great to hear how well you're doing, how you've expanded the business. It's so fantastic with all the new flavors that you're doing.
Thank you.
So, do we have answers to those questions? Let's just check in. So, is the secret ingredient salt? We have a couple more. Whey protein. Is that the secret ingredient? Salt and cream? And then another, the Manor School has said salt as well. So, what's the secret ingredient, Joseph?
Those are all great answers. So the secret ingredient is air.
Air. Wow. Oh, that is something I never would have guessed.
Yes,
Air is the secret ingredient.
yes.
Oh,
So
wow.
to be called ice cream, just quickly, you cannot have more than 100% air. So what does that mean? If I have 1 liter of ice cream mix, I can only get 2 liters of ice cream finished product. Now, that's how we implement the air. So we whip the ice cream, we churn it, and but at Chaeban, what we love to do is make it more dense. So we
Mhm.
only aiming between 40 to 50% air.
Oh, wow. That's actually something so great and also a great experiment opportunity. What does the different ice creams taste and feel like if you have different percentages of air? So I'm going to put that challenge out to everyone watching. If you go to make some ice cream, let's see what you can do in terms of different percentages of air when you whip it. So, one last question, and then we'll be wrapping up with Joseph. Ellie, what kind of equipment do you use to make ice cream? Because I see there was a lot of technology involved, Joseph.
A lot of equipment. One of I would say love. You need to love what you do. So you need a pasteurizer. You need like some mixing element. That way you can mix your ingredient. And then you need an ice cream machine. So it's very simple. You just were at a larger scale. So everything I said you can actually do at home. But the only thing you need is like a little ice cream machine.
Yes, or else you're hand cranking it with ice around it. I think that's a lot of work. But it is and can be done.
Yes.
So, Joseph, we're coming to the end of our tour with you today. Are there any final words you'd like to share with everyone across Canada?
Well, thank you for listening to my story. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys learned some knowledge today. I hope you guys if you ever come to Winnipeg, ask for Joseph Chaeban, and ice cream will be on me. How about that?
Well, what a great offer. I'll know I'll be on a plane tomorrow just to try some. Well, I hope you all learned something new today. I know I did. Before we close off this episode, and thank you everyone for waiting patiently. I'm excited to share the last mystery word is food or alimentation en français. So, what a great word for learning about ice cream that we're talking about. The mystery word is food. Thank you again for joining us on season 4 of the Great Canadian Farm Tour. This was our last tour, and what a fantastic last tour to wrap up the whole season. We had a wonderful time learning with all of you and wish you a wonderful school year. So thank you everyone for joining us today and for our whole season 4 of the Great Canadian Farm Tour. Goodbye for now and see you next time.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Bye everyone.